Hello and welcome. I'm Sukant Khurana. I'm the founder of IronCure. Today, I have the privilege of having Professor N. Sukumar with me. Professor N. Sukumar has been a scientist in India, in US, in Germany. He did his PhD from New York area, where I also was there much later, probably 20 years or 15 years later after he did. I was at Cold Spring Harbor. He was at Stony Brook. So he's been in various spheres. One of the things which is uh, made me sort of connect with him is that I have worked in various fields and I find a lot of inspiration from him. He started out as a chemist. He's still a chemist, but then he moved on from chemistry, quantum chemistry, to computational chemistry related to drug discovery and biology, and he works with biologists on a lot of medically relevant issues, drug discovery. So he's spanned different domains. It's a privilege to have Professor Sukumar with me. There is a specific context also. We recently published his book. It's an excellent book for drug discovery people in industry, for students, for academics. It basically tells how you can do drug discovery using computational biology and artificial intelligence. And this is the future of drug discovery. I mean, you're talking of globally something which is worth several trillions, bigger than several countries' economy. Drug discovery globally is worth $5-6 trillion already, and expected to cross $10 trillion. It's such an important industry, and to capture where it's going, it's an amazing feat. So, Professor Sukumar, it's an honor to be with you.
Thank you.
So now I'll ask him basic question that uh, how do you view the overall history of drug discovery? Let's first delve into past before we can go into future.
Well, uh, drug discovery started out with serendipity and experimental method. Try something, see if it works, and see whether you die or not. So,
I
uh,
tried that recently, eating some fruit. Fortunately, only diarrhea.
and then over the last uh, probably century, it started in a more systematic manner with what we now know as what we now call rational drug discovery. That is, you try to understand the mechanism by which the drug is working, not just the fact that it's working. And now the it's kind of changing back in a way with AI.
Yeah.
We're going to a system where we can work with a lot of data, uh, and we don't have to uh, develop a hypothesis first and then try it out, but we can just construct the hypothesis from the data itself.
Yeah, that's a drastic shift, and I think that a lot of people in industry in US are prepared for it. In India, more often than not, most people have been busy making generic drugs. Novel single molecule drugs discoveries have been far and few in between. Indian academia has some bright spots. In ISC and some other places, there is some good effort on some drug discovery. It's not zero, but I've been myself associated with Indian academia before deciding to do startup. And earlier, I was in US academia as a student, postdoc, independent scientist briefly. So I don't see that Indian academia is geared towards that shift, that dealing with large data, because there are some issues of even working in silos, not
Yeah,
trusting each other,
yeah.
data reproducibility. So India has major challenges, and I'm kind of taking to the second question by pointing out the negatives. It's not just to criticize. I mean, it's easy to criticize and take the path which I took, which did require a bit of bravery to okay, say, I'll do entrepreneurship and I'll fix instead of fixing the system, I'll build the right system myself. But what I want to ask you, the second question in this, how can countries like India, where you know the venture capital investment in tech sector, deep tech sector like drug discovery, is missing, what role you envisage of change in mindset of academia and of governmental support to see that it's not just a part of curriculum, right? It's not just like professors like you or
Yeah.
earlier I was a scientist, we are just teaching it, but actually doing what we are talking. What do you think is needed for that to happen?
Yeah, so uh, like I said earlier, we were more into just developing generics, not into drug discovery uh, per se. The problems, of course, are because availability, as I said, of venture capital, availability of data. Data is typically been the intellectual property of pharmaceutical companies.
Hmm.
And it's valuable intellectual property, which they don't want to,
Yeah,
they don't want to give out.
yeah,
But there is a lot of data now which has become available open
yeah. Public domain. There's a lot of.
in the public domain. A lot of data on neglected diseases
Hmm.
where the major pharmaceutical companies are probably not all that interested because they don't see all that much money in it.
Hmm.
Uh, and so the rewards are less, but then the incentive is also, incentive is also, the barrier is less,
Yeah.
right? And with, with the with AI coming in and a lot of technically qualified people in India who have expertise in AI, though they may
Hmm.
not have in drug discovery. The opportunity for teaming up
Hmm.
is much more nowadays than it was
Okay.
maybe even 10 years ago.
Okay. So on that note, we'll come back in another episode and we'll take it further. And it was great to talk to you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.